I-G-G-A. A word used in place of names. A word whispered behind my back 10 minutes after I called out a white boy on a topic not even remotely related to race. A word used by people that walk these halls both with an ER and an A. Well, where I came from, people said it all the time. I'm a minority too. It's okay. My black friend gave me an N-word pass. Irrelevant. If you're not black, don't say it. But clearly those words are not enough for people to understand because they don't want to understand. I mean, y'all get one black president and act like racism never existed, but then get a walking fallacy into the Oval Office and start acting brand new. There's been little change because people are content in their ignorance and they say that it's bliss, but when your comfort is marginalizing the rights of others, there's a problem. People require an explanation as to why they can't say the N-word, so this is me pleasing the masses. So if you're not black, listen up. I'm gonna get straight to the point. The idea of reverse racism is some BS if I did ever hear any. You have to understand that there's a difference between racism and prejudice. Prejudice is a preconceived notion based on speculation and zero fact. Prejudice is real, it can be hateful and strong and negative, and black people can be prejudiced as hell, same as any other race can. But racism is different. It requires a systematic advantage of one race over another, and in 400 years of being in this country, that's an advantage that black people have never had. Still confused? Brian Banks spent a combined 10 years in jail and on strict probation for a fabricated rape case, and Brock Turner spent 3 out of 6 months and was in jail and was actually guilty. The difference? Banks was a black man. The same thing happens with weed and drugs and every other type of illegality out there, but I'm not done. Every time some white person shoots up a school or a church or a club, they're held to a higher regard than every victim of police brutality. Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Stephon Clark. We say their names because they are the reality of the racism that's been allowed to fester in this country, and we cannot forget that. They were shot and killed because of the same racism that allows protesters in Charlottesville to share the blame with white supremacists and literal Nazis in the eyes of our president. So pull your panties out of your ass and check your privilege, but hey, if you're not black or any other race in America, sit back, stay comfortable. It's your world and we're all living in it. G. Get your hands off my hair. I'm not an exhibit in a petting zoo. But don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal. Black people are the epitome of cool. And that may seem egotistical, but I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. I mean, you guys look to us for your hit songs and your dance trends, but never give the credit where it's due. Appreciation is the understanding of someone or something, a full understanding of the situation. Appropriation is the taking of something for one's own use, typically without the owner's permission. Appropriation is theft, and y'all should understand why black people are a little bit more sensitive when it comes to the topic of people taking without asking. So understand my disgust when I see a white person wearing dreads or boxer braids or cornrows as a way to be hip or cool, because those hairstyles are made specifically for our hair. For 400 years, my people have watched the erasure of our culture and lineage, and when attempts to reconnect with that culture are reprimanded and deemed unprofessional or undesirable, but are in turn used by celebrities as a way to be cool, it cuts deep. Remember that it's better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. And if you're not black, take heed to what Kendrick said. My DNA is not for imitation. G. Great people believe in themselves. That's why representation matters. In a world where media is such a large aspect of our lives, it's important that children see people who look like them or think like them or love people in the same way as them. And that's no different for black youth. There are children who want to be poets, engineers, writers, and artists, and if there's nobody that looks like you doing the thing that you love and living the way that you want to live, then what's there to believe in? That's why media like Black Panther is so important. I mean, children look up to superheroes for a reason, and Black Panther offers characters in control of their own narratives and their own fates in a country that shows what Africa could have been without the greedy claws of colonialism. of colonialism. It takes the power that superheroes are able to inspire and gives it to a group of children who don't always see themselves in glory. And if you're not Black, you need to help us affect that change. Hey, atop this stage, I've addressed a lot of topics, but what do they actually have to do with the N-word? Everything. What I've done is I've explained to you a sliver of the Black experience. An experience that could easily be used as a justified pity party, but isn't. I mean, we take our culture and we try to affect change, we try to educate. A hallmark of Black people is our ability to reclaim. I mean, look at hashtag tweet like the 1800s or the 1600s or what have you. I mean, slavery was arguably like the worst thing that America has ever done, and Black people took that and made something comedic from it, albeit kind of dark, but still never forgetting the history of their own oppression made it their own. The N-word is no different. That word has flown through history like arrows off of sharp tongues piercing our faces, meaning to make us bleed, but we plucked it from the air and reclaimed it, removing its power from those who sought to keep us down. No other group carries the baggage that the N-word does, and no other group has the liberty to say nigga, plain and simple. And that's the gospel truth.